oil and gas discussion. Saudi Aramco, the crown jewel of the Saudi Arabian nation. Let's take a look at the second quarter earnings released this morning. $113.5 billion revenue, 5.8% growth. Operating profit, $54.9 billion, just slightly under the $55.2 expected by the markets. Net income coming in at $28.3 billion, slightly under estimates. 9 million barrels per day is what they produced within the second quarter period. And look at that dividend. $124.2 billion is what the Saudi Aramco company is expected to pay to the government. Let's get to windfall taxes, as we've already covered extensively. Femi Otedola, strong man of the capital markets, coming out as chair of FBN Holdings, coming out in favor of the FX windfall tax on banks. And of course, we took out some quotes where he addressed the press saying that he is in favor of that windfall tax, should be used for infrastructure. He says some banks are, spending way too much, private jets and the like, and he says that the tax is well worth it. Now, Mustafa Chika Obi, who of course is the chairman of the Bank Directors Association of Nigeria, put out a tweet saying that is not the feeling of the bank community. There it is. I've read the personal views of some bank chairmen of the windfall tax. Those views do not represent the Bank Directors Association of Nigeria. There will be a meeting on the 12th of this month, and they will then communicate their official position. There's been a report out in today's This Day newspaper, a Nigerian newspaper of record. I think the company is called Emerging ERC or so. They have come out to say that this tax will break the banks. That is the windfall tax. So we're seeing more and more positions coming forward with respect to that. And then ratings. We've got diverging views from GCR and Fitch ratings. GCR bullish on the Dangote Industry Limited. Okay, so this is Fitch first. Fitch actually downgraded. Their ratings watch is negative. They're saying because of debt. They're talking about revenue challenges. They're also talking about a lack of support from the government. Not enough gas going to the fertilizer plant. Not enough oil going to Dangote Refinery. And also the NNPC stake, that 20% stake that ended up being 7.5%, also presenting challenges. GRC, though, they're saying that they are bullish on the outcome or the future for the Dangote Refinery. They maintain their AA plus rating and their outlook is evolving prior stable. Arise business analyst Chika Mbonu. We always give him a lot to talk about on the show. Good morning, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. As always, I always ask you, where do you want to begin? Where do you want to start?
Aramco, let me just make...
Aramco, I want to get your thoughts on
because we thought about NNPC yesterday.
Of course, we did.
Let me speak like a Nigerian. Make Aramco day, make a day or day. We will manage our NNPC. We'll just manage our NNPC.
Oh my gosh.
In the first level of contrast is level of transparency.
Right. Listed company.
Yeah. Transparency. From all records, the last result we had for NNPC published was 2021 actually.
Yeah.
In 2022, for 2022, January, I think in 2024, they just sent out one press release and told us that our profit was about 2.5 trillion with no breakdown, with no analysis. 2022 result. And since then, we have not seen anything. So transparency is a major issue. We thought with the coming of the Petroleum Industry Act, one of the requirements was the periodicity, the frequency of NNPC publishing his results, audit accounts. But that has not happened. But I mean, look at it this way. One of the key figures there is 9 million barrels per day
of production.
Yep. That's Aramco.
Yeah.
And then compared to our own, mighty
1.5.
And that 1.5 is contextual because I have to go to OPEC.
Yeah.
I usually go to OPEC when NNPC people give the figures.
Yeah. I
go to OPEC report website to get the real figures. So that's NNPC figure 1.5. So I have to go and confirm, but they did OPEC site. So you can see the gap. Meanwhile, they could push up to capacity of 12 million barrels.
Right.
And so because of the OPEC Plus pact, that's why they're holding their 9 million barrels. Another interesting figure you should know wrote is dividend.
The dividend.
$124 billion.
Wow.
So
that is a massive number for food.
We are proud of our NNPC. Let's Aramco so that they will hold their own. Hold their own. You know.
Oh my gosh.
We'll get there. I'm sure we'll get there.
in due time.
Maybe when in 2050.
Yesterday you said exactly. You said it's 2050.
When Port refinery opens, then we'll be able to have this kind of Aramco numbers. You know.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, it's. We'll get there. Just like everything in Nigeria, we'll get there.
We'll get there in due time.
Yeah, but I mean, but they you know, Aramco drives the Saudi economy.
Yeah.
Because of the quantum of cash flow and profit and dividends coming from that company, they're able to do the things they are doing.
Yeah.
You know, the new mega city they are doing, the new mega airport. They can really hold prices, manage inflation.
Yeah.
Which is what I've been saying here. That I have in this lingo. I say that. When good things happen to oil in Nigeria, good things happen to Nigeria.
Right.
But
Saudi, the currency is 3.75 to the dollar. That's okay. Let's all
do
right.
that.
So what next do you want to
look at the one that we've promised to talk today.
The tax. The windfall tax. All right, Chika, jump in. I want to get your thoughts
my
on
favorite person.
Yes.
Hotel Dollar. My favorite person. He's always my favorite person.
Yeah.
You know. And there were two things that he mentioned in that his press statement.
Yeah.
One of them has to do with his support for the windfall tax.
Yeah.
And the other one has to do with the fact that the banks that any bank that is complaining should actually look inwards and see their lifestyle is very ostentatious.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them spend $50 million. You know, per annum and such, in maintaining private jets and stuff like that. I mean, I don't want to mix the two.
Of course.
You know, and let's deal with one, and then I can talk about that one. You know, he defined this thing for us, windfall tax, just for our viewers. You know, tax by the government, you know, on companies, you know, when they benefit from something they're not responsible for.
Right.
Let me put it as that. Just like, you know, something you're not responsible for, that's a windfall, you know. You're not really, you didn't do anything magical, you didn't do anything effort, you know, but does that taking that division simplistically is not completely correct.
Okay.
And because you won't say that the banks are not responsible for the profit that arises from the FX situation. Because let me put it this way. Let's look at two individuals.
Yeah.
We earn the same salary. Let's say 700 naira. So at the time when they pay us, each of us our naira, you put your own in $1.
Right.
I kept my own in naira. Okay? You know, so my own decision. I kept my own naira.
Right.
Your own decision. You bought $1.
Yeah.
So roll forward. And then you find that the exchange rate has moved to 1,500. You know their own dollar now, your naira now is because 1,500.
Yep.
But my own remains 700. So
right.
I cannot punish you literally. I can't blame you or hate you because you took a decision then to, you know, your own decision.
Right.
You know? So the way you can also talk about this, because I'm addressing this before I go into the issues, that a lot of people are trying to, you know, say whether the banks didn't commit a crime.
Right.
These things were earned in the basis of business decisions they're making.
Yeah.
Because not every bank, that's how you're going to know, made the same level of profit. Some banks didn't actually make FX gains.
That's right.
You know, so it's a business decision some of them took in the course of the business to have some dollar holdings. In the course of the business, and those dollar holdings have appreciated because exchange rates have moved from maybe 700 June 2023.
That's right.
To what it was at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So that is basically that. But be that as it may, you know, it's government right to do that. Of course, you wouldn't say the government has the right to tax anything it wants to tax. Tax always is not right or wrong, it's the fairness.
Right.
Really, when you want to measure that, you just talk about is it fair? You know, is it fair? So in that respect, I go back to the UK, for example. The United Kingdom UK government during the COVID era, after COVID, the oil companies in UK profited from the expansion in the economy and oil prices, ballooned.
That's right.
Secondly, when Russia attacked Ukraine, oil prices moved up also.
Right. That's correct.
So the UK government, when other people large economy was suffering, the oil companies were making a lot of money. The UK government had to introduce a windfall tax, which I think they've tried stretched now to 2049 or thereabout.
Yeah.
So it's not speculative in Nigeria, it happens. So now, again, it's on realized profits, on the profit that's already realized. Realized, just for our viewers, let me say again, if you had that $1,
Yep.
you're holding in your DOM account in your pocket.
Yep.
Before it was 700 what?
Yep.
Now it's worth 1,500.
That's right.
Nobody can come and say, Rotus, come on, your profit has increased by 800 naira because you have not sold it yet.
Right.
It's only when you sell it that it becomes, you actually get the money, the profit.
Yeah.
So as far as it's in your pocket, it's not realized.
Thank
So
you.
for the for benefit of the banks, is those profits that are already realized between June 2023 and December 2025
Okay.
at 70% tax rate.
Yeah.
However, note also that in their profits tax calculation for 2023 already, they have paid tax up to 32%.
That's correct. Yes, correct.
So the incremental will be about maybe 40 or 38%.
Yeah.
That. So what, those are the baskets. So yes, the larger economy has suffered. And what tells you sometimes whether the windfall tax is fair is one side gaining extraordinarily
Versus the other.
the other side of the economy.
Right.
You will find that the customers of the banks are declaring losses, exchange losses.
Right.
Where the banks are declaring supernormal profits. Exchange profits. So to balance such, especially because this has not happened normally, that's why the tax is there. Could the government have done it differently? Of course. Could have maybe consulted better, and so on and so forth. Not the unilateral way, the military way, and the condemning way that people are trying to pen banks. Banks didn't commit any crime.
Gotcha.
And so let everybody see it as the tax. Now, timing. The other issues here.
Yeah.
Remember we're in the midst of recapitalization.
That's right.
Now, I'm aware, because I advised one of the top banks. At the time, I was with the CEO when this news came out, and he had immediate calls from foreign investors who he just came back from a trip. Because the 4 trillion required to recapitalize the banks in Nigeria, we cannot get it from the domestic economy.
Right.
You must get from outside, and that's the intention of the government, to see whether some foreign exchange will come into our country. Now, it can be asking the shareholders to lose dividends,
Right.
lose value because the stock prices are falling also, and at the same time bringing new capital.
Gotcha. Exactly.
For me, that's the Central Bank of Nigeria and the government to balance that, because it's a major
And
issue.
they told them not to use their FX gains.
FX gains to recapitalization, that. So that's a major issue.
Yeah.
So government has a right to tax anybody. Tax, is it fair? Yeah, there's a balance there because of the fact that one side of the economy has stupendously gained, another side of the economy, they're still declaring losses. If all the large corporates that.
Yeah.
Has it been fairly implemented? I don't think, because there has not been a lot of consultation. They just done it by fiat and just had it overnight. But they could have done it collaboratively and made it easier, because banks are actually business people.
Right.
So for me, those are my opinion on this issue.
Fantastic.
The other aspect that my good brother, one of the kindest people that is that Mr. Otedola. I call him Otedola. A very kind person. In every respect.
Yeah.
The society gives that. Now the issue came up with the lifestyle of these bank CEOs.
Yeah.
Now, I need to comment on that,
Okay.
because it raised the issue of private jets or no private jets.
Yeah.
Now, let me put it this way. I was going for a meeting in Guinea. It took me maybe 3 hours flight from here continuously.
Yeah.
But it took me 2 days to get
My
there.
goodness. That's Guinea within Africa.
Guinea, yeah, 2 days to get there.
Yeah.
Okay? I went to Zambia one time. It took me the same thing, 2 days to get there. So you can imagine a CEO that is in 21 African countries.
With branches everywhere.
Will he be at the airport waiting for that?
Yeah.
Are you with me?
Right.
And so the issue is time and the convenience and the cost of your time. So do they need, another arrangement from regular scheduled flights in Africa? Yes, they do. They need that. And it can only be in the form of private jet. Now, the issue is this. And I'm sure that's where my big brother, Taylor, is talking about. Do you buy it and hold?
Right. Or
just be renting it as you need it?
Gotcha.
And now, Mr. Tedela is a rich person. I'm aware, and I know, because at the time he had to come back from Nigeria from one of his bases, either Monaco or London. And I said, oh, sir, I hope you use your PJ. He said, oh, he doesn't have a PJ. He rents as he uses.
Right. Because
of the confidence.
Right.
So he lives and works what he talks about.
Gotcha.
He can't but he can't park it at the Murtala Mohammed Airport here. He's just wasting away, paying whatever.
Right.
So it's expensive to own private jets.
Right.
And he's saying a lot of banks are owning private jets in their books. And those assets should be sold and liquefied.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Chika, look, we have to do a continuation. Maybe we get to the GCR Fitch ratings another day. We appreciate your insights. Thank you so much on the oil matter, Saudi Aramco, and this windfall tax. I'm glad we finally got to hammer it out. Arise business analyst Chika Mbonu, thank you so much for joining us.